What's up, the world? It's your boy Tommy Nav. I came to basically speak on something that's hasn't really been bothering me, but has been apparent if you watch basketball. The whole narrative surrounding the OKC Thunder, and what I think the end game is, and why they do what they do. Okay. Start out by saying the OKC Thunder is a good team, right? They're a good team. They're talented. Do they get favored by the refs? I can't say they do. I don't think that they do. I think the problem that they have is that they have a lot of players who understand how the refs ref, right? And it's mostly Shea, right? Because everybody acts like everybody on their team gets 29 shots, and that's not true. The only one that really does it is Shea, and that's because Shea is very good at drawing fouls. Because he has such a great mid-range shot, it is very hard to it's kind of like trying to guard Luka. You know what I mean? It's not an easy task when a player is strong, but the difference between Luka and Shea is actually quick on top of that. So Shea can get around you and he can shoot over you. So you either have to foul him or you have to, allow it, or you gonna have to allow him to shoot. And then most of the time he's gonna shoot. And then because Shea gets so many fouls, people want it to switch back the other way, and I can understand that because Shea gets a lot of fouls. But at the end of the day, this is my problem with it, right? I think because the refs understand that people don't like that they call so many fouls for Shea, that they're starting to call more fouls for Shea. Because the one thing I realized about refs is if you tell them that they're cheating, they cheat more. So it's almost like, okay, you want to say I called too many fouls? Instead of them saying, oh, you want to say I called too many fouls? I'm not calling fouls. They call more. Almost like they have a small, like they have a complex about it. Like it's like a power. You don't tell me what to do, and I think what Puka Nacua said is true. A lot of these guys are not full. They're refs, but they're getting paid like $200,000 extra onto their salaries, and a lot of them already have pretty well-paying jobs. So a lot of them are people who look at the world, in a way that makes people think that they believe that they're more important than they are, because in their minds it's like, I'm a professional, I just do this in my part-time. Well, that's somebody who needs to do this during their part-time, not some guy who is making $200,000 a year already. But regardless, that's aside, these guys have egos, so they'll go out there and they'll stay and they'll do worse if you tell them they do something. And which is why they're starting to call it now. And it's not just for Shea, it's for the entire Thunder now. Now they're just calling everything. And when you sit there and you watch the game, it's like, this seems like a plan. It seems as if this is a team planted by the NBA that started out as something they did not plan, right? And then the Thunder were good. They were good for 1 or 2 years without actually winning anything, but they would do good in like the regular season. Then last year they won the championship, which if I'm being 100% honest, I don't even remember who they played last year. If I'm trying to remember, they might have played Boston, but I think Jason Tatum got hurt. But I'm not 100% sure. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't a hard task to win the championship. But I think Indiana. That's what they played, Indiana. And they almost lost that. But Tyler Halliburton ended up getting hurt, so it was like they only won because Tyler. So it's like OKC Thunder has not really achieved a lot of respect among their peers, right? A lot of people feel like they're a direct product of the refs. And it's unfortunate because I think Shea's a good player, but he is also a foul merchant. You know what I mean? But so again, it gets back to my point. So is Luka. So is Austin Reeves. So is half of the league. You know what I mean? I can't, because it's what they started this with Steph, right? The NBA wanted to factor out athletic ability, and they wanted to maximize shooting, right? They wanted people to come for the shooting, not the dunking. And it's gotten to the point where almost every player that's good is unathletic. So when you're sitting there and you're watching it, think about the top players now, right? Ja Morant was there. They, to me, Ja Morant is an idiot. Don't get me wrong, because if you realize the Hornets nest is gonna sting you, you don't kick the Hornets nest. Ja Morant has a tendency to kick the Hornets nest, but what did Ja Morant actually do? Right? He was in a video with a legal gun in the video. And they went out of their way to try to demonize this behavior as if there is not white people with guns all over the place. Right? They're suburban people with guns everywhere. Right? Walking into Walmart with them strapped to their hips and teaching their 4 and 5-year-old kid that the most important thing in life is not the ability to fight, but the ability to shoot. So you're afraid that some parent's child might see a kid with a gun when their dad is walking around with a gun strapped to his waist, taking them hunting where they're killing things, turning them into a little psychopath I will say this 10,000 times. I can never understand the art of going out and killing something for sport. That to me shows a level of psychopath. You want to kill something and you can't. And because you can't, you have to go out and kill whatever you can. And these guys are killing animals for so long that they get to a point that they want to kill a human. And that's where I feel when I see these hunters. It's like, I never understand it. I never had an urge in my life to go out and kill something for sport. I'm sorry, my penis ain't that. What in the world would make a person say, oh yeah, I got some time, let me go out to a forest and kill a animal? Not because, and then they love to, well, I eat everything I kill. Well, do you have to? If you don't have to kill to eat, then you're killing for sport. But that's neither here nor there. The point is not to talk about people killing animals. The point I'm trying to say is that there's a level there, and you want to tell me that them seeing Ja Morant do this or show a gun is somehow gonna hurt their development? It's so retarded. But regardless, Ja Morant was kind of gonna be the face. They didn't want that face, right? He was uber athletic. Take away him, then Anthony Edwards was gonna be there, right? Uber athletic, right? So they kind of moved him out of the way. Now you got Shea, who is nobody's face of the NBA, but he is widely considered one of the top, if not the top player in the NBA. You got Luka, who would you say was top 5. You got Jokic, who you would say was a top 5 player. Talk about all these players that they constantly tout. Name one of them that is uber athletic outside of Anthony Edwards. Because they've successfully filtered out athleticism. All these players are dribblers, shooters, foul merchants. All of them. All of them are terrible players without the refs. So now you got all these players getting scoring 30, getting 18 foul shots a night, Cooper Flag just got in the league. He's already doing that. You used to have to as a rookie have to earn fouls. This man getting 18 fouls a game. I mean, it's just obvious to me. I can't watch it. I tried. I cannot watch it. And when LeBron is gone, I think the ratings are gonna sink like a rock. I really do. I just can't imagine why anybody would want to watch this type of basketball. There is absolutely no spirit, no soul to the game anymore. Everything is analytical. Everything is efficiency. Everything is foul shots. Foul. 90% of the game is watching people shoot fouls. That's the new NBA. Foul shots. And when you're sitting there, you watch, it's like, oh my gosh, they started. I said this. If my video ain't up no more, but if you go back to I say, what they're trying to do is that I said this in 2010. They're trying to filter out athleticism. They don't protect the attacker of the rim anymore. They attack the shooter. They protect the shooter, and they want it to migrate because they're trying to filter out athleticism. And now here we are, full circle, and the player who shoots more than they attack gets more foul calls. Anthony Edwards, who goes to the rim, is probably going to get fouled way more way harder than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander doing a fadeaway. But the Shai is always going to get the call. Anthony Edwards is almost never going to get the call. Because they don't want players playing like that. Why? Because it got to a point where the league was predominantly African American again. Which it still is, but I'm talking about the top tier players, and they realized we got to learn. As long as athleticism can allow people to play, what does athleticism do, right? And what does foul calling do? If I'm athletic, I can guard you. I can guard you close. I can make it so you can't shoot. And if you force anything up, it's going to be a bad shot. That's how I stop you from shooting. Right? How do you filter that out? Change fouling. Right? I'm going to make it so that if you get called for a foul, I'm going to say you got to give the shooter room to go up and come down. Right? So that means even if I'm guarding you and you have no room to go up, if you go up, I have to move and let you come back down. So that means I have to let you shoot, right? Then, if I hit you, even if I back away from you to make sure that you can go up and down, if I put my hand up and it touches your hand on a follow through, it's a foul. So now you got guys. And you got guys like Gilgeous who literally stick their foot way out after they shoot in a super unnatural basketball motion and still get called and still get fouled. Not because they love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because they love his style of play. They want that to become the predominant style, which is only going to lead to lower ratings because nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see people taking mid-range jump shots. Nobody wants to see that. They want to see excitement. They want to see athleticism. They want to see things they can't do. They don't want to see some shit they can do in their backyard. That takes away the spectacle. Anybody with a hoop can go out and shoot a shot. But I mean, look how many you got 43-year-old LeBron. I mean 40-some-year-old LeBron with the highlight. With the one with the biggest dunking highlight of the year, a 40-year-old. We are losing the narrative. We are losing the focus at this point. Who was it that said that basketball is becoming unwatchable? Because I agree. because I can't think of the last time I sat and watched basketball where I did not feel the intense need to change the channel. It is so boring to watch. That's why people got so mad at Anthony Edwards, but Anthony Edwards understood the game. He's like, bruh, they're not calling when I attack. So I gotta stop attacking because they're not a guard. People are like, but Anthony, we need to see those dunks. We need to see you doing posterizing people. Well, tell the refs that, because when I get fouled, they're not calling it. So I'm gonna do what all the rest of them are doing. I'm gonna shoot mid-range, I'm gonna shoot threes, and in the end, hopefully I'll get the foul calls I deserve. Still, they won't get them because they don't care. They just don't want you to be the face of the NBA because you are not the standard they want. They want unathletic guys who are skilled, who can shoot, and that's what they want. And that's not going to be. It's the same thing that happened with Tiger Woods in golf. In their incessant need to filter out Tiger Woods, they ended up killing their sport. They started Tiger-proofing every golf course because they got tired of Tiger Woods destroying everybody, right? So in the end, what ended up happening is by doing that, what you ended up doing was making a course not only, because if Tiger Woods is way better than everybody else and you make it hard for him, guess what? You make it hard for everybody. So now it's almost impossible for anybody to be dominant anymore because they have made it way too hard to be dominant. And they thought that it was going to help golf. It has not. Their revenue has dropped. Their sponsorships have dropped. Their viewerships are cratering. They are terrible. It's the same thing when you look at a lot of these sports that choose to do that. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face, and then at the end of the day, basketball has been around as long as it has for a reason, because people like to see the things they can't do, and you're trying to filter out athleticism. And at the end of the day, no matter how hard you try to filter out athleticism, it's not going to make the sport more profitable, because it was already popular when athleticism was there. So I'm not trying to say that this marketing ploy that they had, because clearly Shea is just a plant. He's just somebody they're putting in place until they can get somebody they want there. Shea is quiet. He is humble. He does not speak, and he does not act like Ja. He does not act like Anthony Edwards. He's very candid about what he says. He's very measured about things he says, and he does not. He's a quiet superstar, which is he's a docile, non-threatening person, and that's the type of person they want representing our people. And then so they're going to put him out there. But at the end of the day, I don't like the way that they choose to call a lot of this. I mean, that they're choosing to try to change the NBA, because I do not think it's to its benefit. I think it's, and at this point, I can't think of a player right now that has come in the last 5 to 10 years that I look at and say, wow, that guy is just, outside of Anthony Edwards. I can't think of anybody where I'm like, oh wow, that kid's box office. Who? Luka has the most boring game in the world. Jokic has the most boring game in the world. Giannis, boring. I mean, can you think of anybody right now that you would call box office? And the older guys don't count. Steph don't count. KD don't count. Braun don't count. I'm talking about the younger guys. Can you think of anybody now that you would say is box office? You had Ja for a little bit. Anthony Edwards for a little bit. But they both changed the way they play. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying, I'm not saying that there aren't talented players. But right now, when you look at basketball, they are not marketing. They're not saying, hey, look at this dunk by this guy. You're watching and ones 3-point shots from half court that are where people are shooting 20%, and they're acting as if this is the draw to the league. Why? Because because that was the whole point of Steph Curry. Steph Curry was put in there to try to the shot. It's like, no, Steph's consistency along with his shot is what made him box office. You ain't seeing these guys doing what Steph was doing. These guys are going out, chunking up 29 shots and scoring 40 and acting like they Steph. 12 threes, 15 threes, making 5 of them. It's like, that's not Steph. Steph was not a volume shooter. Steph didn't shoot that many times. Y'all are shooting 80 times and with 29 threes. I saw a guy one time with 22 threes. How you shoot 22 threes in a game? You know how many he made? 3. How do you shoot 3 for 22 and your coach keep letting you shoot threes? I don't understand it. I really don't. A game where somebody is shooting 22 to 23s, 20 to 22 threes, and we're supposed to be sitting around applauding it because he makes 5. This guy shoots 17 threes, he made 4 of them. And we ain't talking about the 13 he missed, we talking about the 4 he made. It's like, this is the problem we running into. And these kids, they have nobody to build a future on because everybody they built the future on is boring and nobody wants to watch them. So what do you think is going to happen? You think it's going to magically flip over where people are going to want to watch? No. Nobody wants to watch these games because it's boring. It is boring to watch. They've taken the soul of the game out of it. You know what I mean? It's just there's no creativity to the game. There's no authenticity to the game. Everything looks forced. Everything looks robotic. Everything looks boring. It's boring to watch. And when you're sitting there, you're watching it, and you got the best team in the league shooting 30 to 50 free throws a night. It's like, oh my God, bro, I can't watch this. This is mind-numbingly boring. At least when James Harden was doing it, James Harden was the only one doing it. You can't turn on a game now. I would say go look at your average basketball game and tell me how many games are free throw driven. Now let me be abundantly clear. Do I think that they're trying to that they're effectively trying to filter out black people? No, I don't think they're trying to filter out black people, because I don't think black people are the only athletic people. I think what they're trying to do is emphasize more of a grounded game so that the more average person can play it. They want it to be an everyman sport. It's not an everyman sport. The average player is 6'8", 6'9". These guys are abnormal. They're not normal. So you want the guy who goes to YMCA and shoots up 20 shots and was a great high school basketball player who was 5'10", 5'11". That guy was never going to make it to the NBA. Some of them might. You have Jalen Brunson, you have these guys, but at the end of the day, they have their place, but you're not going to see a lot of them. So let's be smart. Let's do this smart, in a smart way, and let's make sure we're making the right decisions, and that basketball can be around longer. Not what baseball is now, where nobody cares. I have never said that they never put their stories on the front page, and if they do, it's only for like 10 minutes. It's crazy how little they care about baseball, and basketball is going to be there because nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to see an everyman sport where everybody can play. No, nobody cares about that. The everyman wants to show up and watch basketball. They don't want to show up and watch somebody who looks like them. They don't want to watch something that they feel like they can do themselves. And as I said before, it's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. Although the black players tend to be more athletic, right? Better defenders. That does not mean there's not a lot of white players who are athletic and good defenders. There's a bigger population of white people, so there are going to be a lot of white people who can defend and are athletic. You look at dunking, the white guys are athletic. They can dunk, they can play defense. It's not a thing about race. It's a thing about me pointing out that this is clearly an attempt to try to filter out athletic guys, and it's going to hurt black people more because black people tend to be more athletically centered in their game. When you find a player that is athletically centered, they're more likely to be played. So that's the only reason I'm saying that it hurts their plant, who is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, does not benefit a guy like Anthony Edwards or Ja Morant. It benefits somebody like Austin Reeves, Tyler Hero, Luka Doncic. So the point I'm trying to say is that these things are not here, but if you just need me to throw out some names, Tyler Halliburton, Jalen Brunson. It doesn't help those guys. So what I'm trying to say is that whether you're Anthony Edwards or Alex Caruso, it is not a good thing for you to play with an attacking style. It's better for you to just either be a set shooter or a foul merchant. So or even better if you could come out combine the two. So regardless, that's my point, because I don't want people to think it's a situation where I'm trying to say they're trying to filter out black people, because that's not my point. I don't think they believe black people can't learn and be and still be able to play. I just think that they want the game to go more to a grounded, everyman shooting type of sport, and I just don't think that that's the way to go for the NBA. And I think it's going to end up bad, and I think the OKC Thunder are a plant team. I think they're just there because they represent what they want, not so much because they're the best team. And I think it's starting to get under people's skin. I think it's starting to annoy people because nobody wants to see that crap. Nobody wants to see a game that's 90%, that is 30% free throws, that is 40% them watching people standing around shooting free throws. That whistle is always going. It messes up the flow. It messes up the flow of the game and how people watch it. But anyways, I just wanted to say that real quick. If you have any comments, please let me know. Thumbs it up if you like it. And please do not subscribe. What we doing? Subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.